Tanggapin mo anak, itong munting guryon na yari sa patpat at papel di hapon. Magandang laroang pula, puti, asul na may pangalan mo sa gitna naroon. Ang hiling ko lamang bago paliparin, ang guryon mong ito ay pakatimbangin. Ang sulot paulo'y sukating magaling nang hindi mag-ikit o kaya'y magkiling. Saka pag sumimoy ang hangin ilabas at sa papawiri bayaang lumipad. Datapot ang pisi tibayan mo anak at baka lagutin ng hanging malakas. Ibigin mo't hindi balang araw ikaw ay mapapabuyong makipagdagitan. Makipaglaban ka, subalit tandaan na ang nagwawagi ang pusong marangal. At kung ang guryon mo'y sakaling madaig, matangay ng iba o kaya'y mapatid, kung sakasakaling di na mapabalik, maawaing kamay nawa ang magkamit. Ang buhay ay guryon, marupok, malikot, dagitit dumagit saan man sumuot, o paliparin mo't ihalik sa Diyos bago patuluyang sa lupay sumubsob.
Now, let's start with the first elements of poetry called form. The Ang Guryon by Ildefonso Santos has 6 stanzas, and each stanza has 4 lines, also called as quatrain. For our first stanza, we have a rhythm pattern of AABA. This happens because the guryon hapon naroon rhymes with each other, but asul isn't. For our second stanza, we have a rhythm pattern of AAAA because di paliparin, pakatimbangin, magaling, and magkiling rhymes with each other. For our third stanza, we have a rhythm pattern of ABCA. This happens because the ilabas and malakas rhymes with each other, pero yung lumipad and yung anak doesn't rhyme with another last words of a line in our third stanza. For our fourth stanza, we have a rhythm pattern of ABBC. This happens because the makipagdagitan and tandaan rhymes with each other, but the ikaw and marangal doesn't. For our fifth stanza, we have a rhythm pattern of AAAA because the madaig, mapatid, mapabalik, magkamit rhymes with each other. So for this one, we have I research about it kasi ayun nga, hindi nga po siya yung last letter po niya isn't the same with the another lines. Pero as my research, they said na it considered na po siya as rhymed because magkatunog naman po sila kapag binanggit. So, AAAA. For our last stanzas, we have a rhythm pattern of AABC because the malikot and sumuot rhymes with each other, but the Diyos and sumubsob doesn't. So, for our next elements of a poetry is sound devices. For rhythm, the poem has a natural beat like spoken advice from a parent. The sentences or a phrase that supported this is, ang hiling ko lamang, bago paliparin, ang guryon mong ito ay pakatimbangin. For rhyme, most stanzas follows a rhyme patterns. For example, what I said earlier is AABB or ABBA and etc. like a guryon, hapon, asul, naroon, and paliparin, pakatimbangin, magaling, magkiling, ilabas, lumipad, anak, malakas, ikaw makipagdagitan, tandaan, marangal, madaig, mapatid, mapabalik, magkamit, malikot, sumuot, Diyos sumubsob. For alliteration, it is a repeated consonant sound at the beginning. The example of it is the magandang laruang pula, puti, asul. The letter P or the consonant P was repeated. Dagitit, dumagit, saan man sumuot. The repetition of the and S was so obvious, so they are considered as alliteration. For assonance, the assonance is a repeated vowel sounds. We have nayari sa patpat at papel de hapon. The repetition of the A sound is so obvious, so it is counted as assonance. And we also have a bago paliparin ang guryon mong ito. O paliparin mo't ihalik sa Diyos. The repetition of the O sound is also obvious, so it also a example of assonance. For consonants, it is a repeated consonant sound, middle or end. For example is at baka lagutin ng hanging malakas. Paulit-ulit ang tunog ng nang. Kung sakasakaling di na mapabalik, ang paulit-ulit po dito or the repeated sound po dito is yung consonant K po. For repetition, we have the repetition is a word or phrases that is repeated for emphasis. We have a kung sakasakaling di na mapabalik. The repeated phrase is sakasakali, and dagidit tumagit saan man sumuot. Repetition of the verb dagit. Pula, puti, asul. The repetition of colors for emphasis. And the onomatopoeia. We didn't include onomatopoeia since the poem haven't a word that directly describe a sound, so we didn't include it.
Imagery. The poem uses visual imagery to paint a vivid picture of a colorful kite, ang guryon, made of bamboo stick and Japanese paper adorned in red, white, and blue, marked with the child's name at the center. This creates a bright and symbolic image of innocence and identity. At the same time, tactile imagery is used to express a feeling of tension and caution as the kite is allowed to fly freely into the sky. But the child is reminded to hold the string tight so the wind won't snap it. A metaphor for responsibility to control life challenges.
The poem Ang Guryon used figurative language to convey life fragility and guidance. Life is compared to a kite through a metaphor, while the personification of the wind and kite shows life challenges. The kite and string symbolize a child's dream and parental care. Symbolism. Imagery creates a vivid visual and sensory experience, and the allusion to God highlights the importance of spiritual guidance.
The speaker is a parent, most likely a father, who is giving advice to his child. The parent uses the guryon kite as a symbol of life, reminding the child to be careful, to stay balanced, to be strong against challenges, and to live honorably. The voice is caring, grieving, and full of concern, showing parental love and wisdom.
The theme shows how parents lovingly sacrifice to guide their children, reminding us that life is fragile and that letting go through painful is necessary for growth.